Why does a narcissist hide the affair when you know that there's an affair? Like, why does he still hide it? Maybe you're still together, maybe you've already broken apart, but why is there this piece of he will not actually admit that there's something going on? So many times you'll see a narcissist that is in an affair, that is in cheating, and you get to the place where you're like, I figured it out, I found it, I even caught you, I even saw you, but they still won't admit it. So, we want to talk about today of how narcissists and why narcissists get to the place where they hide affairs when you already know. When you're like, there's no reason for you to hide this because I already know, I already have the evidence, I already have like litany of different things to be able to show and prove that this is what is going on. I even saw you with this person, etc., etc. Okay, but they still won't actually admit it. So I want to dive into why won't a narcissist actually tell you the truth? Like why they still hide affairs when you still know. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and share this video with someone else who might be dealing with the same thing. Maybe either you have have a partner that has cheated on them, had these different affairs, and they're like, I don't understand, why won't he actually admit it? Why won't this actually come out? Send this video to him. Okay. All right. So diving in, we're going to deal with this aspect of what is actually going on behind the scenes. Why is this actually happening? The first thing I want to point out is this aspect of the power of manipulation, like manipulating control through deception of what's actually being seen, what's actually being shown. We know narcissists are typically liars, across the board liars. Okay, liars to other people, liars to themselves, but mainly like trying to make sure that they hide what is actually going on. They hide what actually looks like. And so a narcissist is going to hide an affair from you to manipulate your perception of them, to manipulate your perception of reality, gaslighting, and to maintain a sense of control and power. Notice a theme. There's a big theme when we talk about narcissists, and that's the control and the power piece. The whole goal is let me manipulate what you're seeing. Let me manipulate what's going on because I'm still in control. Narcissist always wants to be in control of the narrative, in control of the story that they're telling themselves and that they're telling other people. So they're going to stick with a story even if it seems ludicrous, even if it seems ridiculous to keep having that story, they're going to stick with it because they've already started it. You're going to see a lot of times a narcissist that gets a lie, one lie, and will not let it go. Even if they see and they understand that they're wrong, they still won't let it go. Because what that does is that impacts their piece of the image, how they look, the perfectionism piece. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But this aspect here of hiding these to be able to change your perspective and your perception. Sometimes it's just hiding this to make you doubt that you actually see what you see, that you actually know what you know. It's to make you doubt this. This happens a lot of times inside the relationship in the form of gaslighting. That didn't happen. You don't know what you're talking about. You probably need to get your eyesight checked. Like going through this aspect of trying to show you that your perception isn't real. That's what a lot of times narcissists will do in the gaslighting wise. Changing your perception so you don't believe what you saw or what you heard. But for narcissists, we're also looking at the aspect of thriving on this piece of control and domination over other people. And the aspect of like revealing affairs oftentimes is going to jeopardize their hold over you. So a lot of people, if you know that your narcissist is in an affair, might walk away easier than if you don't actually have the proof. But when you do have the proof, it's like they're not going to admit it. Because if they don't admit it, then there's this piece that you're just like, but I don't have closure, but I can't move forward, but maybe something's wrong. Maybe I'm seeing something wrong. Maybe it's not as bad as what it is. And you start to justify and minimize the abuse and the things that are actually happening. So many times people look to narcissists to get closure. Sometimes people watching my channel being like, hey, this helps me get closure, understanding. And that's part of it. But the hard part is when you're looking for closure from that toxic person. You're not going to get that. Because oftentimes closure is having the narcissist admit what they did wrong so that you feel validated in your perception of what they did wrong. Hopefully that makes sense. Sometimes people are like, I need to have closure. I can't get closure from him. The closure doesn't come from the narcissist. The closure comes from you acknowledging and admitting the facts and the truth of the situation. If you're only looking for another person to validate that closure, to admit that it actually happened, to own up to the things that they did, you won't get that closure, especially not with a narcissist, because once they lock into that one lie, it's going to stay locked in. Very rarely will it ever change, because the whole goal is like, I've got this lie, I can't lose this, otherwise I lose control over you and it hurts my image. Okay, so by keeping this aspect of cheating and the affairs and all this stuff, by keeping it hidden, they manipulate the narrative. Okay, this maintains this illusion of innocence. I look good because I haven't admitted it. I look good because I haven't actually said, I did this, this was wrong, or this is what happened. And so then it just rolls into, let me take your doubts, your insecurities, and make you question your own perception. Then we move back into the realm of gaslighting. Okay, does this make sense? Like the whole aspect is trying to make you doubt your reality. Then you spend so much time and effort trying to understand your reality, trying to prove whether you did or didn't do something, et cetera, all to get to the place where you're still confused and you still haven't made a move. You still haven't made a decision. You still haven't done something to be able to end the relationship, move forward in the relationship, set a boundary in the relationship, anything like that. Okay? Narcissists will do this often to manipulate control over you, over the relationship dynamic, and keep you tangled up in that web of deceit. You have to remember, it's all about control, smoke and mirrors, trying to make sure that you're not actually having the clarity of mind to move forward. So think of it this way. You've discovered evidence of your narcissist affair. Like you have blatant proof, blatant evidence. Maybe it's text messages, maybe it's pictures, maybe it's someone else seeing them, like whatever it might be. Like you have that. But the hard part is, instead of acknowledging their actions, the narcissist just goes through and is like, nope, didn't ever happen. Like denies it, gaslighting you into believing that your suspicions are completely off track. Completely baseless. There's no reason that you should even do this. This manipulation gets to the place where it not only hides and obscures the truth, but it keeps you emotionally invested in that relationship and uncertain about your own judgment. Like, this is the piece. Narcissists will do this to make you doubt you. That is the main piece. Think of it this way. If I can get you to doubt you in the moment, you will not make a move to actually do the things you need to do. If I can get you to understand that you're not actually who you are, that you're not thinking who you are, you're not understanding what's going on, you're not processing the different things that you should, you won't make a move. This is why the whole aspect of understanding about narcissism, bringing awareness to it, trying to coach and help people, trying to work people through the challenges that we do, is to bring you clarity. Because if we can bring you clarity, you can actually see clearly enough to make a decision. That's all we're trying to get you to do. If I get you to see clearly, then you can make a decision, and you're not relying on a therapist, you're not relying on me, you're not relying on the narcissist, you're not relying on anyone else. You're relying on understanding the facts and the formula to move forward so that you can be free every single day. So another aspect I want to bring up is protecting the facade of perfection. Okay, so we talked about how they'll lock on to like one lie, how they'll keep that, how they'll control, how they'll dominate all those different pieces, how they gaslight, okay? But then there's also the aspect of like protecting the facade of the perfection. Now, this oftentimes is the aspect of the mask, of like, I have to maintain the image, I have to look a certain way. And even when confronted with undeniable evidence, undeniable facts of the affairs, they're not going to change that, okay? Because the narcissist oftentimes is deeply invested in the image of superiority, of infallibility. It's like, I always thought I was perfect. Always thought. That was just a thought process. I would joke around that. Be like, it's hard being with a perfect person, isn't it? It's hard being with me when I'm so amazing. Like, full of it. Like, there's a lot of it, okay? But I need you to understand, like, narcissist is latched into that. What do I have to change, adjust, modify in your reality so I still look good while I'm doing the things that are bad or abusive? So when these come to light, when affairs start to open up, it starts to shatter that illusion. You're no longer perfect. You're no longer good. One of the lies that I would always believe was simply this: I am a good person. That's what I thought. That was one of the lies that was in my life on a day-to-day basis, telling myself that I was a good person while I was cheating. Telling myself that I was a good person while I was being abusive. Telling myself that I was a good person while I was showing up as a liar and a coward in the relationship by not owning the things that I was doing. So there's this aspect that a narcissist will do anything and everything to hide that piece so they can still look perfect, so they can still look good. Then when it comes to light, the illusion starts to shatter. The mask cracks. To avoid this aspect, tarnishing self-image or looking like they did something wrong, you might see narcissists go to great lengths to hide these things, even if you already know about them. Okay? You're like, how does this make sense? Because it's not about you. It's not about your perception. It's not about your reality. It is about them. Okay? It is about the narcissist. So, like, in the moment, I'm like, what do I have to do anything I have to do to avoid looking bad? They already know. It's fine. I just have to change it in my mind. I just have to change the thought process in my mind that they don't know. And I can do that by gaslighting in this direction. Okay, so narcissists will do this over and over and over to protect this idea of like, I have to look perfect. Even if you know, it doesn't matter. I have to look perfect for me. So I have to change my current reality, press that upon you so that you believe it, or so that I think that you at least believe it. Even if you don't, it doesn't matter. I have to think that you believe it so that I look perfect in my mind, so I look perfect to everybody else. It's messed up, right? Like there's not an easy way to be able to break this down logically because it doesn't make sense when you look at it from the outside. Now, on my side, I'm like, I'm making total sense. You might be thinking like, he's just like speaking like crazy. We can't even understand what he's talking about. But the goal is that I'm trying to break it down so you understand and you see the narcissist of how it actually walks through this piece of like hiding affairs, even if you know, still gonna hide them. Because it latched onto that lie, latched on the perfectionism, and he's not going to let go of that. Not going to let go of that mask. So what you need to understand is that piece I talked about earlier. Closure does not come from him admitting the affairs. It doesn't. Closure doesn't come from him admitting that he cheated, that he lied, that he manipulated, that he gaslit, that he did emotional abusive things. It doesn't come from that at all. Closure comes from you acknowledging and admitting the truth to you that it happened regardless of what anyone else says. Closure comes from you acknowledging and seeing the truth of the situation regardless of what anyone else says. Do you get me? Like, I need you to hear this because so many people latch on to, I don't have closure because he won't tell me. He won't talk to me. I can't talk to him. I can't get an answer out of him. Closure doesn't come from the narcissist. Closure comes from you. Every time, all the time. If you want help with that closure, please go to escapetoxicity.com today. Escapetoxicity.com today. So 7-day challenge, $7 total. You move into it. There's a community there going through at the same time. You've got over 25 plus videos, daily assignments, daily homework to help you move forward understanding and starting the process of breaking free from narcissistic abuse. If you like what you saw here as far as like video and what we break down, watch some of the other videos on your screen, and we'll see you guys next time.